if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Throughout history, there have been individuals who, for various reasons, found themselves in the crosshairs of relentless enemies. Yet against all odds, they managed to survive multiple assassination attempts, defying death time and again. These are the stories of those who faced death, yet lived on with resolve, leaving a lasting mark on history. How did these individuals navigate such deadly threats? What drove them to repeatedly confront death and emerge with their lives preserved, their determination unwavering, and their impact etched into the records of time? Join us as we delve into the incredible stories of 20 people who survived the most assassination attempts. Number 20, Charles de Gaulle. After bravely serving in World War II for France and leading popular opposition movements, Charles de Gaulle soared to become both Prime Minister and later President of France. His tenure was marked by crucial challenges, including the aggressive issue of Algeria's independence from French colonial rule. In August 1962, de Gaulle's bold decision to grant Algeria independence sparked anger among extremist factions, notably the organization Armée Secrète. This paramilitary group strongly opposed Algeria's independence and targeted de Gaulle for his perceived betrayal of French interests. On August 22, 1962, an audacious assassination attempt orchestrated by Colonel Jean-Marie Bastien-Thierry shocked France. Bastien-Thierry, an officer in the French Air Force, carefully planned a trap on de Gaulle's motorcade near Paris. Despite the attack's violence and the tragic loss of 2 security personnel, de Gaulle and his wife miraculously escaped intact. Following the failed assassination, Bastien-Thierry was swiftly apprehended, tried, and thereafter became the last person to be executed by firing squad in France for his role in the plot. His fate underscored the severe consequences of attempting to assassinate a sitting president. Throughout his tenure, de Gaulle's defiance against numerous assassination attempts underscored his unwavering determination and the wild political climate of the era. His survival of over 30 documented attempts on his life further solidified his reputation as a resilient and steadfast leader in French history. Number 19, King Zog. King Zog I of Albania, known for his wild reign, faced not only political challenges, but also numerous attempts in his life. Amidst nearly 600 blood feuds, he navigated a difficult landscape of enemies eager to remove him from power. Despite the constant threat, King Zog survived an astonishing 55 assassination attempts throughout his rule. Zog's journey to power began in the military, where he initially gained dignity. His rise through the political ranks saw him serving as prime minister and then president, before declaring himself king in 1928. This transition marked a pivotal moment in Albanian history, as Zog strengthened power amidst internal and external pressures. One of the most notorious attempts on Zog's life occurred in 1924, when he bravely entered parliament and was targeted by Bekir Valteri, who fired 2 shots at him. Despite being wounded, Zog displayed remarkable resilience by continuing his duties without pause, underscoring his unwavering dedication to his responsibilities. Another harrowing incident unfolded in 1931 at the Vienna Opera in Austria, where Zog and his entourage were attacked. While the king emerged unscathed, the attack claimed the life of one of his guards and injured a minister. Zog's response to the assailants, firing back as they retreated, showcased his bravery in the face of danger and further solidified his reputation as a resilient leader. Number 18, Sukarno. In 1945, Sukarno etched his name in history by becoming Indonesia's inaugural president, leading the nation to freedom from Dutch colonial rule. His charismatic leadership and vision for a united Indonesia propelled him to the forefront of the independence movement. However, his alignment with the Soviet Union during the Cold War era raised alarms in Western capitals, particularly among the CIA, which staunchly opposed communism. The CIA's concerns manifested in covert operations aimed at destabilizing Sukarno's government, including several foiled coup attempts and assassination plots. By 1957, at least 6 known attempts on Sukarno's life had been made. One of the most infamous occurred during his visit to a school in central Jakarta, where militants from the Darul Islam movement launched a grenade attack. While Sukarno survived, tragically, 6 innocent bystanders lost their lives. In 1960, the threat escalated when Air Force pilot Daniel Malar attempted to assassinate Sukarno by strafing his residence with a plane. Despite the destruction caused, Sukarno miraculously emerged unharmed, underscoring his resilience and the intensity of the threats he faced during his presidency. Number 17. Rajiv Gandhi. In 1984, the Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi met a tragic fate at the hands of her bodyguards following Operation Blue Star, an operation aimed at flushing out Sikh separatists from the sacred Golden Temple in Amritsar. This military action, conducted to restore order, instead sparked outrage among Sikhs and led to the assassination of Gandhi, who had ordered the operation. The aftermath thrust her son, Rajiv Gandhi, as her successor, amidst heightened security concerns. Over the following years, from 1985 to 1991, Rajiv Gandhi survived an astonishing 9 assassination attempts, underscoring the volatile political climate of the time. One particularly chilling incident occurred in 1987, captured on film, when a Sri Lankan naval raiding, Vijitha Rohana, struck Rajiv Gandhi with his rifle during a ceremonial guard inspection at the residence of the Sri Lankan president in Colombo. The shocking footage circulated widely, highlighting the constant threat to Gandhi's life. Tragically, fate caught up with Rajiv Gandhi in 1991. While campaigning for the upcoming elections in Tamil Nadu, he was assassinated in Sriperumbudur by a suicide bomber from the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, a militant group fighting for an independent Tamil state in Sri Lanka. The assailant, disguised as a photographer, detonated explosives strapped to her body, claiming the lives of Gandhi and 14 others, including security personnel and innocent bystanders. Number 16. Gabby Giffords. On January 8, 2011, tragedy struck when Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was shot outside a Safeway store in Casas Adobes, Arizona. It was a serene day as she met with constituents for her Congress on Your Corner event. Suddenly, a man emerged from the crowd, brandishing a 9mm pistol with a large magazine. In a shocking burst of violence, he fired indiscriminately, hitting 19 people. Tragically, 6 lives were lost, including federal judge John Roll and 9-year-old Christina Taylor Greene, granddaughter of MLB manager Dallas Green. Jared Lee Loughner, the assailant, was swiftly subdued by courageous bystanders and later apprehended by police. The following day, federal charges were filed against him, accusing him of heinous crimes including the murder of federal employees and attempted assassination of a congresswoman. Ultimately, Loughner pleaded guilty to numerous charges to avoid the death penalty. Amidst the chaos, Giffords lay critically injured, thanks to the quick actions of her intern, Daniel Hernandez Jr., who administered crucial first aid. She miraculously survived. Rushed to the University Medical Center of Tucson, she underwent emergency surgery to remove skull fragments and damaged tissue from her brain. Remarkably, the bullet had traversed her skull without causing catastrophic damage to vital areas, although a portion of her skull had to be temporarily removed to relieve pressure. Number 15. Uday Hussein. Uday Hussein's life changed dramatically on December 12, 1996, when assailants ambushed him in Baghdad's Al-Mansour district. Between 7 to 17 bullets struck him while he drove his Porsche, initially leaving him paralyzed, and with 2 bullets lodged irretrievably in his spine despite multiple surgeries. His survival was miraculous, and though he regained mobility with a pronounced limp, the incident marked a turning point in Iraqi politics. Saddam Hussein, Uday's father, responded to his son's incapacitation by grooming Qusay, Uday's younger brother, as his successor. This decision reshaped the Hussein family's political dynamics, with Qusay gradually assuming more authority in Iraqi leadership circles. The attempt on Uday's life was orchestrated by the Shia Shaban movement. The attackers, led by Salman Sharif, carefully studied Uday's routines, identifying a vulnerable moment on a luxurious Mansour street, where Uday occasionally appeared without his usual security detail. Their precision was evident as they fired precisely 50 shots, hitting Uday 17 times. Amidst Uday's recovery, an interesting detail emerged involving an American hypnotist named Larry Garrett. Garrett, from Chicago, made 2 trips to Baghdad in 2001 to treat Uday's lingering physical challenges through hypnosis. This unusual therapeutic approach spanning over 60 hours of personal sessions, provided a unique window into Ude's character and intellect. Number 14. Adolf Hitler. During World War II, amidst the Allied forces' efforts to overthrow Germany's leader, Adolf Hitler, his life was constantly threatened from within. Historians meticulously document over 42 known attempts on Hitler's life. These plots ranged from elaborate schemes to straightforward assassination attempts, each fraught with its complexities and near misses. One notable instance occurred in 1943 when German officer Rudolf von Gorff devised a daring plan. He intended to detonate timed explosives hidden in captured weaponry while embracing Hitler. However, Hitler unexpectedly cut short their meeting, leaving von Gorff with the perilous task of discreetly deactivating the device in a nearby bathroom. This incident highlights the precarious nature of such covert operations and the unpredictability that often saved Hitler's life. Similarly, the notorious 20 July plot, led by Klaus von Stauffenberg, stands as one of the most infamous attempts on Hitler's life. Von Stauffenberg placed a briefcase containing explosives near Hitler during a meeting. However, the briefcase was inadvertently moved, preventing the detonation and ultimately thwarting the assassination attempt. These intricate details not only underscore the intensity of internal resistance against Hitler, but also illustrate the intricate balance between fortune and careful planning during these tumultuous times. Number 13. Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro of Cuba faced an extraordinary number of assassination attempts, totaling an astonishing 638 alleged plots. Many of these schemes were masterminded by the CIA during the height of Cold War tensions. Among the more bizarre attempts, operatives once tried to lace Castro's beloved cigars with a deadly toxin or explosive, hoping he would unwittingly smoke his last puff. In another elaborate plot, a seashell was outfitted to explode upon touch, strategically placed to entice Castro during his frequent scuba diving excursions. The CIA went so far as to acquire specialized books on Caribbean mollusks in their quest to find a shell large enough for their deadly plan. Though this particular attempt never came to fruition, one of the more cinematic attempts involved a poison concealed within a pen, reminiscent of a classic spy thriller. Additionally, the CIA briefly considered a widespread propaganda campaign across Cuba, offering a reward for Castro's demise, reflecting the desperate measures taken during this covert campaign. Despite the multitude of attempts, Fidel Castro managed to evade all efforts to eliminate him, living until 2016 when he passed away at the age of 90. Number 12. Pervez Musharraf. Pervez Musharraf's tenure as Pakistan's president from 2001 to 2008 was marked by significant geopolitical shifts and domestic challenges. Initially coming to power through a military coup in 1999, Musharraf navigated Pakistan through a tumultuous period, particularly in the aftermath of the September 11 attacks in 2001. His alliance with the United States in the War on Terror was pivotal, yet controversial within Pakistan, where sentiments were divided over the country's involvement. During his presidency, Musharraf faced several attempts on his life, underscoring the volatile nature of Pakistani politics at the time. In December 2003 alone, there were 2 daring attempts on Musharraf's life using explosives, highlighting the persistent threats he faced. Although he narrowly escaped these attacks, the second attempt tragically resulted in the deaths of 16 people. The following years saw continued challenges to his security, including a shooting incident targeting his airplane in 2007. Despite the danger, Musharraf remained resolute in his leadership, advocating for stability and economic reforms. His policies, including attempts to modernize Pakistan's economy and political system, shaped the country's trajectory during his tenure. Musharraf's passing in 2023 marked the end of an era, reflecting on his complex legacy as a leader who navigated Pakistan through turbulent times, both domestically and internationally. Number 11. Danny Green. Danny Green, known as the Irishman, had a multifaceted life that intertwined military service, labor activism, and organized crime in Cleveland during the mid-20th century. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, Green's journey from a United States Marine to a prominent labor union leader was marked by his charisma and influence among longshore workers. He eventually transitioned into the underworld, forming his gang known as the Celtic Club. During the notorious Cleveland Mafia War, Green became a central figure, involved not only in organized crime, but also in a significant number of arson attacks across the city. His alleged role in up to 80% of these attacks over 10 years underscored his influence and notoriety in Cleveland's criminal underworld. Green's defiance in the face of danger was legendary. Despite facing multiple attempts on his life, including a devastating explosion that destroyed part of his residence, Green remained undeterred, famously challenging his adversaries with the statement, "If any of these so-called mafia maggots want to come after me, I'm not a hard man to find." His luck finally ran out in 1977 when a bomb planted in a neighboring car exploded, fatally injuring him. Number 10. Donald Trump. During a heated campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13, 2024, former President Donald Trump narrowly escaped a potentially fatal gunshot wound when a bullet grazed his ear, in what authorities later confirmed as a meticulously planned attempted assassination. Amid the chaos and shock, Trump, displaying remarkable resilience, defiantly raised his fist as he was swiftly whisked away to safety by a team of vigilant Secret Service agents. Upon arriving at a local medical facility, doctors quickly assessed Trump's condition and assured the public that his injuries, though unsettling, were not life-threatening. Meanwhile, the rally ground descended into pandemonium as 3 unsuspecting attendees were also caught in the crossfire, resulting in injuries. Tragically, one of the wounded individuals succumbed to their injuries shortly after the incident. The attempted assassin, later identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, was swiftly and decisively neutralized by skilled Secret Service sharpshooters positioned strategically at the scene. Law enforcement agencies promptly launched an intensive investigation into Crook's background and motives, aiming to unravel the complexities behind his alarming actions and ensure justice for the victims. The event sent shockwaves across the nation, prompting widespread concern and renewed discussions on political security measures and the safety of public figures during contentious electoral campaigns. Number 9. Saeed Hajjarian. In March, year 2000, the political landscape of Tehran was rocked by a brazen attack that targeted Hajjarian, a prominent figure at the city council. The assailant, identified as Saeed Asghar, reportedly associated with the Basij militia, approached Hajjarian at the council's doorstep and fired a single shot that grievously injured him. The bullet pierced his left cheek and lodged dangerously close to his spine, plunging him into a coma that lasted weeks. The incident sparked widespread shock and outrage across Iran, with citizens and political figures alike condemning the act of violence. Outside Sina Hospital, where Hajjarian fought for his life, crowds of concerned Iranians gathered in a spontaneous vigil, underscoring his significance in the country's political landscape. The aftermath of the attack was marked by a complex legal and social fallout. Hajjarian, once an influential political strategist and reformist, was left permanently paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. The attempted assassination, widely believed to be politically motivated, resonated deeply in Iranian society, highlighting the dangers faced by those advocating for political change. Saeed Asghar's capture and subsequent trial brought further attention to the case. Despite being sentenced to 15 years in prison, he was controversially released after serving only a fraction of his term, sparking debates about justice and security in Iran. Number 8. Pope John Paul. In 1981, an extraordinary series of events unfolded around Pope John Paul II, revealing a remarkable tale of survival and forgiveness. That year, while addressing a crowd in St. Peter's Square, the Pope miraculously survived an assassination attempt by a member of the Turkish nationalist organization, Grey Wolves. Shot 4 times, he was critically wounded. Some assumed that the Soviet KGB had orchestrated the attack. Despite the grave nature of the incident, Pope John Paul II chose to forgive and even befriend his would-be assassin the following year. His forgiveness was tested again when, in another harrowing moment, a former priest attempted to stab him with a bayonet. Thankfully, vigilant security guards intervened, preventing another tragic outcome. The Pope's resilience continued to be tested in 1995, when Islamic terrorists, allegedly funded by Osama bin Laden, devised a chilling plot to disguise a suicide bomber as a priest and assassinate the Pope. Their plan, however, unraveled when a chemical fire they accidentally started alerted authorities, thwarting the sinister scheme before it could unfold. Throughout these tumultuous events, Pope John Paul II's ability to forgive, his unyielding spirit, and the extraordinary circumstances surrounding his survival captured the world's attention, highlighting a remarkable chapter in modern history. Number 7. Queen Victoria. During her illustrious reign, Queen Victoria, renowned as one of the most influential British monarchs in history, narrowly escaped assassination attempts that threatened her life on no less than 8 occasions. These dramatic incidents unfolded with alarming regularity, often unfolding when she was traveling in her carriage, a time when security measures were far less sophisticated than today. The first of these close calls took place in 1840, a key year as Victoria, then just 4 months pregnant with her first child, rode alongside her devoted husband, Prince Albert. It was during this peaceful carriage ride that Edward Oxford, a troubled individual, suddenly emerged and discharged 2 pistols in her direction. Miraculously, both shots missed their intended target, sparing the young queen from harm. Oxford's subsequent capture and confinement to a mental institution underscored the seriousness of the threat posed to Victoria's life. A decade later, in 1850, another chilling incident unfolded when Robert Pate, a former army officer noted for his eccentric behavior, made a brazen attempt on the Queen's life. Pate, in a shocking display of audacity, struck Victoria forcefully on the head with a cane during another carriage outing. His swift apprehension and subsequent exile to a penal colony in distant Tasmania highlighted the global repercussions of the attempt on Victoria's life. Number 6. Vladimir Lenin. Vladimir Lenin emerged as a central figure in the Russian Revolution, a seismic event that reshaped the nation's trajectory. His leadership during this tumultuous period solidified his status as a hero among supporters of the Bolshevik cause, yet he also faced vehement opposition from various quarters. Lenin's prominence made him a prime target for numerous assassination attempts, totaling around 5 recorded incidents. The most infamous occurred on August 30, 1918, immediately after he delivered a speech at a Moscow factory. As Lenin made his way to his car, Fanny Kaplan, a disillusioned member of the Socialist Revolutionary Party, fired multiple shots at close range. 2 bullets struck Lenin, causing grave wounds that left him critically injured. Kaplan's swift capture and subsequent execution highlighted the intensity of political tensions in post-revolutionary Russia. Although Lenin survived this brazen attack, the wounds inflicted had profound implications for his health. Historians speculate that these injuries contributed significantly to his declining physical condition and premature death in 1924. This dramatic event not only underscores the personal risks faced by leaders during revolutionary upheavals, but also sheds light on the complex political landscape of early Soviet Russia. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the whispers of conspiracy and shadows of danger, lived a man whose life defied all odds. They called him Jacob, though most knew him simply as the Survivor. Jacob wasn't a superhero or a spy, but his story rivaled the most daring of thrillers. From the age of 25, he found himself inexplicably marked for death, targeted by unknown assailants for reasons he could never fathom. Each attempt on his life was more audacious than the last. Poisoned drinks, staged accidents, even elaborate ambushes. But Jacob emerged unscathed every time. Rumors swirled. Some whispered that he possessed supernatural luck. Others claimed he was blessed by guardian angels. Yet, Jacob himself remained stoically quiet, refusing to let fear mar his daily routine. He became a legend, a myth whispered about in dark corners and hushed tones. One particularly stormy night, as Jacob walked home through deserted alleyways, a figure emerged from the shadows, a shadowy silhouette wielding a gleaming blade. With lightning reflexes, Jacob dodged the strike, his years of evading death lending him an almost preternatural grace. A brief struggle ensued, ending with the assailant fleeing into the darkness, defeated once again by Jacob's unwavering will to survive. As news of yet another thwarted assassination spread, curiosity turned to awe. Jacob became a symbol of resilience, a proof of the indomitable spirit of humanity against all odds. People wondered if he had a secret, a hidden fortress, or perhaps an army of protectors. But Jacob remained an enigma, his secrets buried beneath layers of mystery. Years passed, and Jacob's story grew into folklore. Some said he finally retired to a remote mountain retreat, while others claimed he continued to live among people, an ordinary man with an extraordinary tale. What unseen force protected Jacob through countless attempts on his life? Let us have your opinions in the comment below. Number 5. Bill Clinton. President Bill Clinton, renowned for his controversial affair while in office, also faced an astonishing number of assassination attempts, highlighting the intensity of threats against him. Throughout his presidency, Clinton encountered at least 6 serious attempts on his life, a testament to the volatile political climate of the time. In 1994, a particularly tumultuous year, 4 attempts targeted Clinton. In January, Ronald Gene Barber threatened the president while he was jogging, demonstrating the persistent danger Clinton faced even during routine activities. Later that year, in a daring act, Frank Eugene Corder crashed a small plane onto the White House grounds, tragically losing his life in the dramatic attempt to reach the presidential residence. The danger escalated in September when Francisco Martin Duran fired multiple shots at the White House from outside, mistakenly believing Clinton was among the bystanders. His reckless actions earned Duran a severe prison sentence, underscoring the serious consequences of such attempts. Adding to the gravity of these events, Clinton was also a target for Ramzi Youssef, the orchestrator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Youssef initially considered including Clinton in his plans but was deterred by the extensive security measures surrounding the president, showcasing the effectiveness of the Secret Service in thwarting such threats. Number 4. May Chidiac. On September 25, 2005, Chidiac was gravely injured by a car bomb in Junia, Lebanon. The 1-pound bomb exploded as she got into her car, causing devastating injuries. Her left leg below the knee was blown off, and her hair and clothes were set ablaze. After an emergency amputation of her severely damaged left arm, she was reported to be in stable condition. This bombing was part of a string of attacks in Lebanon, primarily targeting critics of Syria, but also including centrist figures like Lebanese Defense Minister Elias Mur. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, 1/2 kilogram of explosives had been hidden in Chidiac's Range Rover. The explosion was so powerful that it blew off the driver's side door, which was found more than 30 feet away from the car. This attack wasn't isolated. Other journalists and anti-Syrian politicians, such as Samir Kassir, George Howie, and Gebran Touani, the editor and publisher of the daily newspaper An Nahar, were killed in similar bombings. Despite enduring months of intensive treatment and numerous surgeries in Beirut and Paris, May Chidiac showed remarkable resilience. On May 25, 2006, she appeared on television, smiling defiantly and vowing to return to journalism. Number 3. Anvar Tursunov. At 30 minutes after 10 p.m. on July 31, 2009, Tursunov was relaxing at his home in the Yangi Abad district, a quiet area known for its close-knit community. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. His son went to see who it was and was told that his father was being invited to a religious event, a common practice in their neighborhood known for its devout Muslim population. When Tursunov came to the door, he was brutally attacked in a shocking act of violence. 3 men, whose faces were partially covered, stabbed him 8 times, 5 times in the arm and 3 times in the stomach. The attackers quickly fled the scene, leaving Tursunov gravely injured and his family in shock and terror. The Uzbek government later identified one of the attackers as Shavkat Makhmudov, who they claimed was a member of the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, a militant group known for its insurgent activities. Interestingly, Makhmudov was reported to have been killed in a dramatic shootout with law enforcement in Tashkent on August 29, 2009, less than a month after the attack on Tursunov. This incident was part of a larger crackdown on militant groups in Uzbekistan, which had been escalating throughout the year. Number 2. Yasser Arafat. As a leading figure in Palestinian politics, Yasser Arafat was a complex and controversial leader. Loved by many for his dedication to the Palestinian cause, he was also despised by others who saw him as an obstacle to peace. Over the years, it's estimated that Arafat survived at least 13 assassination attempts, highlighting the perilous nature of his political career. One particularly dramatic plan in 1982 involved Israeli forces intending to shoot down a passenger plane, mistakenly believing Arafat was on board. The plan was abandoned at the last moment when it was discovered that the passenger was his look-alike brother, Fathi Arafat, who was accompanying a group of injured Palestinian children to a hospital. In 1996, another assassination attempt was thwarted when Palestinian officials uncovered a plot by Hamas, a militant organization, to attack Arafat with weapons and explosives. The tension between Arafat's Fatah faction and Hamas added another layer of danger to his life. Due to these constant threats, Arafat once mentioned that he never spent more than one night in the same room for safety reasons, moving frequently to evade his would-be assassins. Arafat's death in 2004 was officially attributed to a stroke, but rumors and suspicions have persisted. In 2012, Swiss scientists found traces of polonium-210, a highly radioactive substance, on Arafat's personal belongings, sparking renewed allegations of poisoning. Number 1. Barack Obama. No other United States president has faced as many assassination attempts as Barack Obama, with at least 7 known incidents. One of the most alarming occurred on November 2011, when Oscar Romero Ortega Hernandez fired several shots at the White House with a semi-automatic rifle, hoping to hit the president. Ortega Hernandez, who had previously declared Obama to be the devil and claimed he was on a mission from God, boldly fired his rifle from downtown Washington, District of Columbia. Fortunately, Obama was not in the White House at the time, and no injuries or fatalities resulted from the attack. Ortega Hernandez was captured and subsequently sentenced to 25 years in prison. In 2013, another chilling plot emerged involving Glenn Scott Crawford, a self-proclaimed member of the Ku Klux Klan, and his accomplice, Eric Feit. They devised a bizarre plan to use a death ray device, a remote-controlled radiation weapon, to target several individuals, including President Obama. Crawford, a Navy veteran and industrial mechanic, sought financial backing and technical assistance to build this weapon. The device was designed to emit lethal doses of X-ray radiation, capable of killing people from a distance. The FBI intercepted their plans during an undercover sting operation, foiling the scheme before it could be carried out. Crawford was sentenced to 30 years in prison, while Feit received 8 years and 1 month. Which of these assassination stories had the most significant effect on you? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below.